Tunnelcrack. That's an attack on VPN solutions that's quite sophisticated, quite difficult actually to understand. But we are lucky today to have Luca Cipriano here, our Threat Intel Specialist, and he is really good at explaining very difficult things in layman's terms, and he is still a bona fide A-class nerd, so I'm looking really forward to this. Why is this relevant? We had a threat talk the other day about remote work, working from home, and this was one of the vulnerabilities that we talked about, and today we're actually going to go into the weeds of it. We are sending this to you from our Security Operations Center floor at ON2IT, and this is Threat Talks, a deep dive on Tunnelcrack. Let's get on to it.
Welcome to Threat Talks. Let's delve deep into the dynamic world of cybersecurity.
So, Luca, Tunnelcrack. It's a difficult one.
Indeed.
And it's like an attack on VPN tunnels that you set up. Typically, what most organizations do, you have a VPN solution on your laptop, and that basically, as soon as you connect to a Wi-Fi, connects to the mothership or to some kind of SD-WAN or SASE infrastructure. So you're then part of the network and under supervision, basically, of the corporate network, and it's supposed to always work, right? And now, Tunnelcrack is a technique that is used, a vulnerability or an attack methodology of attack, basically that tries to break that. So, for example, if I'm in my hotel or in Starbucks or at McDonald's and I'm using the Wi-Fi, I'm somehow kind of get tricked into not really being on the corporate network, but actually sneaking in a side way out. So that's the whole thing. And so obviously that's really important. I mean, we assume that with this VPN tunnels we are secure. So let's first talk about how this actually works, and we'll get into the weeds a little, and then in the end we'll close off with the methodologies to prevent that from happening. So how does it work? How does the attack work?
So first of all, I would like just to add something that this basically something that affects also like a lot of people that use VPN. They also use for privacy. So it's not only like only companies, but like also maybe users that have like a VPN provider like NordVPN, Proton, or all other VPNs that they exist, and this affects also
even in the private realm. So
of course, because like basically,
or as a threat researcher.
Yeah, and indeed as well. So it can affect several users and people. So how does it work? This kind of tunnel crack is basically exploiting flow or some VPN client settings or just like security posters are not really good on the VPN. So it's not that there's something wrong in the VPN protocol, but like you can exploit how it works, take advantage of how it works to manage to tunnel out some of the traffic. So there are two ways to do this attack. One is basically with it's called local net attack that uses DHCP, I will say, and the other one is called server IP attack that kind of is similar but uses DNS, but more or less similar. We're going to focus on the local net, so we're going to talk about the DHCP.
Yeah, and our viewers that want to learn more, I mean, obviously, as always, in our show notes, we provide links to threat-talks.com where we show all kinds of infographics that explain this. And if you actually are online right now and in a position to download them, I encourage you to do so, because you can actually follow the diagrams on the things.
We do a lot of work for that, so they better do that. So, let's get back to the local net attack. So both of these attacks, they are attacks that imply that they're like sort of man-in-the-middle attack. So that means that the attacker is in between you and the target, so it's in between the path that the traffic goes through. So for the local net attack, what happens is you talked about Starbucks, okay? So let's think about I'm at Starbucks, I'm connecting with the Starbucks Wi-Fi, and there is a malicious attacker that wants to pull like something like an evil twin. So an evil twin attack, it's like it means like that's the attacker is gonna broadcast the same SSID, so the same name of the Wi-Fi as the free Wi-Fi from Starbucks that you mentioned. So
just a stronger antenna or so.
Stronger antenna, yes. Yeah. So it basically can trick you into kick you out of the real one, and then you reconnect to that one, or you connect directly to that one because it has a better signal. So you think that you're
roaming is a common use case, always attached to the strongest.
Exactly.
So
it looks for the better signal. So
if you sit next to me and I think at Starbucks, then it would probably be easy for you to lure me into your Wi-Fi access point.
For sure it's going to have a better connection, stronger
even if the one is on the ceiling.
Because we're closer.
Okay.
So basically, let's take this scenario. So I am the attacker, and basically what's happened is as soon as you connect.
So I'm the innocent business worker,
or person that wants to visit Facebook or whatever. So you connect with me instead of Starbucks. The first thing that happens when you have a connection, you get assigned an IP address from the DHCP server or from the gateway. In this case, I am the gateway, so I'm going to assign the IP address for you. So let's assume that this actually attack works for one specific target. So let's assume that I want to intercept the traffic that is for the website that stays at the IP address 1.2.3.4. Okay. So what I'm going to do.
It could be my corporate website.
It could be your corporate website, just an example.
Something that
can be Facebook. It can be like or something that you reach in your something valuable for you, as you mentioned.
That I assume to be behind my VPN, right?
That you assume that the traffic will be tunneled via your VPN.
Safeguarded by my own IT organization.
Yes. Okay. So what happens is me, the attacker, I'm gonna assign via DHCP an IP address to you that is in the same network of the target that I want to leak the information from. So in this case, for example, if the target is in the same subnet. Yeah, thanks for correcting. So in this case, if for example the target is 1.2.3.4, I will assign you, for example, an IP address in the 1.2.3.4/24 subnet. So what?
1.5.
.5 sounds good. So then now you have the IP address, and you're gonna start to establish the tunnel with the VPN server. Me, the attacker, will let it go. So you establish.
But wait, how do aren't there certificates involved in all this? How is it possible that I do that? You're just routing my traffic.
Because I'm just forwarded. So you just go.
Yeah, you still don't see the traffic in my tunnel?
No. At this point, I'm just letting everything going
You're
through.
Just an access point.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just legitimately send the traffic to the VPN provider, or your office or whatever, the gateway, and then basically the tunnel is set up. That's good. Everything else, the traffic just traverses my host basically. At this point, what happened? When you want to go to 1.2.3.4, so the target website, your VPN client will think that the target is in your same subnet, it's in your same network.
No need to put it to the tunnel.
Exactly. Yeah. So by default, not all of them, because like for example, the VPN that I use by default blocks the access, but most of the clients by default, they will not route the local network traffic inside the tunnel. So basically, that's what happened. The tunnel is there.
All the business reason for this. Most people want to use their local printer, for example, to print. I mean, if that's you can do that through the office, of course.
Yeah, indeed. Like if I'm working from home and I'm remotely working, and for example, let's assume I'm, working for an accounting department. For example, I need to print stuff. Maybe I need to access the data that is at work, but then I need to print something here to sign it and send it.
It's not always possible to close it if your solution does support it.
Yeah, it's always, but it can be a bit annoying because I can assume that like starting the VPN, opening the data, disconnecting from the VPN, printing, then connecting again. That can be like a bit annoying for a user.
Yeah, so. Or if you're in a hotel, you need to go past the wall where you agree to the terms of internet usage. I mean, that's also on your local network. You got to have a way to click OK, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's bad news. Now you get all my traffic for my
yeah, I mean, I could set up a packet capture and then just get all the traffic that goes through because that goes outside of the VPN. So then I'm able to examine it and get maybe clear text, things that you don't want me to see.
Yeah, you make it sound simple, Luca.
It's not really simple, but I mean, to be honest, this is something that we have talked and we have seen attacks that are worse than this. I mean, there are more chances that an attacker will do it. This is more like the attacker needs to be really motivated. It needs to be the target. Really it needs to be there. So
okay. So we are a cyber defense company. So of course, the question will be, how do we make sure this doesn't happen?
Yeah. For example, in this case, there are several factors. One thing is like, for example, if you have control on the network, for example, because this can happen in different ways. Now we had an evil twin example, but like if the adversary sits in your network or similar, there are like some also layer 2 kind of defenses that you can have, like DHCP snooping or something like accepting IP addresses only from a known DHCP server and these kind of things that can help.
Private VLANs maybe.
Private VLANs as well.
You cannot talk to each other. Yeah.
If you're at the Starbucks, that's going to be a bit more difficult because you don't manage their network. And you're probably not even connected to their network maybe.
Yeah, but if I'm using your Wi-Fi access point, I'm not managing your attacker laptop.
No,
I can't even do that.
So that is that's another thing as well. One thing it will be indeed just block access to the local network, completely shut down when you're connected with a VPN. So, like, if you need to connect with a VPN, then to the local network, then you need to.
Yeah, a good argument to ban local printers, for example, from your company policy.
You know, it's always a trade. You know, like how likely it is this attack to affect you? How much is going to happen? Is it something that? What is the impact on your users?
Well, but if you're a high-profile user in your company, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, maybe it's not good for all of your users, but like maybe really high-profile user, yes, then indeed. Of course, maybe having settings that are specific per user depends on the appliances that you have, but it might be difficult or to scale it. So to have a lot of different settings for all of different peoples and things. But there is not one size fit all. Like, I mean, it depends on your companies and
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you very much. It's much clearer now, I think, to the audience.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. Yeah. Listeners, thank you very much. Like I said, there are more details on this attack. We actually published them at threat-talks.com. Go there, and if you want to do a presentation within your organization, for example, we are happy for you to use them. Also, we are really looking forward to your comments and feedback about this session and about other Threat Talks. And don't forget to like this video if you liked watching it, and press the subscribe button if you don't want to miss anything, because there's more coming, of course. So from the Security Operations Center floor here at ON2IT, I thank you very much for watching Threat Talks and hope to see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Threat Talks, a podcast by ON2IT Cybersecurity and M6. Did you like what you heard? Do you want to learn more? Follow Threat Talks to stay up to date on the topic of cybersecurity.